Son of state gutter, and I'm licensed to tote. Twin Glocks call me butter, cause I'm nice with a toast. I'm nicer than most. You joking till your life's on the ropes, with your spinal cord broke and a knife in your throat.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy 2K the God, my man Sess. Welcome to the Gods of Boxing Talk. Now, for this segment, we want to talk about what's hot.
Yeah.
And what's also hot right now. There's a lot of things circulating in the heavyweight division. A whole lot of shit circulating, man. And in the wake of Anthony Joshua's obliteration of Dominique Brazil, probably one of the most overhyped heavyweights in the division at this point in time, along with Gerald Washington. Yeah, so in the wake of that, it has come to our attention that Joseph Parker is his mandatory. So what we want to do for this particular topic, we want to talk about a potential fight between Joseph Parker and AJ. Now, of course, AJ's next opponent is being said to be Bermane Stiverne, which I personally believe is an easy ass fight because Bermane Stiverne don't fucking move. He's like a parked car, straight up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So he don't fucking move. And Joseph Parker's next opponent is against Soloman Haumono, which I know who he is, but he shouldn't give Joseph Parker any trouble like Carlos Takam did in their last fight. Seth,
what up?
What do you think about this potential IBF heavyweight title matchup?
Hey, I like the fight, man. Joseph Parker is we talked about this before the show. He's 19-0. Tomorrow he'll probably be. I believe he fights tomorrow, actually. After tomorrow, it'll probably be 20-0. Yeah. Anthony Joshua 17-0 with 100% knockout ratio. So I definitely like the fight. A lot of people have been talking about Joseph Parker. You actually mentioned him to me one time before because I wasn't too familiar with him.
Right.
But here's the thing, and I don't even think we gotta do a prediction video for this shit. He's not ready for Anthony Joshua. He's on record saying that immediately after the fight tomorrow, he wants Anthony Joshua. And all I'm telling him is, pump your brakes, fella. Pump your brakes. Exactly, man, because you're about to run into a fucking brick wall, okay?
Run to that straight right hand.
Exactly. Boom.
Yep.
Lights out.
Yeah.
He's not ready. Just to throw a couple of things at the viewers. Joseph Parker is 6'4", Anthony Joshua is 6'6". Joseph Parker has a 76-inch reach. Anthony Joshua has an 82-inch reach. That's 6 inches.
God.
Okay.
Damn. Yeah, I didn't even know that, B.
Yeah, man.
Damn.
A 6-inch reach advantage against a smaller fighter. Ooh. If Joshua uses the jab that he used against Anthony Brazil, there it is. There it is, right there.
The whole fight about Joshua.
The whole fight. The whole fight. Yep. If he uses that beautiful fucking jab that he used against Brazil, that snappy long jab that was quick and hard, he's going to knock Joseph Parker out, probably in the first 4 to 5 rounds. Another thing about Joseph Parker is he tends to stand right in front of you. I can't tell you how much I hate this shit. It drives me crazy. Okay? It's when two fighters stand in front of each other and they're both, they both just, posing and shit, and they're trying to look for an opening. Right. You don't necessarily look for an opening, you create one, okay? Right. That's the fundamentals of having a great fucking jab, or even a good jab. You have to create the openings, okay? And that's what Joseph Parker tends to do. Not only that, he stands in front of you like this. Right hand low, exactly, just waiting. Right hand low, left hand somewhere down here. He pops his jab, but it's not strong, it's not commanding, and it doesn't really do anything. The thing that I will say where that he has better than Anthony is probably his footwork. Oh, no,
go ahead. I was gonna say that.
Okay. His lateral movement is a bit better than Anthony Joshua's, but here's the thing: when you have a superior jab and a superior reach advantage, the guy that likes to move typically doesn't, because you're keeping him at bay with that strong, stiff jab. You just popping it out there. If he goes to the left, I'm gonna pop that motherfucker to the left. He goes to the right, I'm gonna pop it to the right. You know, if he try to get crafty, I'm gonna pop that bitch down the middle. It's gonna hit him either way. You know, we talked about this last time. Some dudes have radar type jabs where they throw it so straight and so stiff that regardless if you go from left to right, it's gonna hit you. Right. And I do believe that Joshua was developing that type of a jab. So again, I like the fight. I like the fight because that's his mandatory, and Joseph Parker wants the fight. But again, he doesn't stand a chance against Joshua.
Damn, man, I agree. I agree about 95%. The only 5% I got is, like you said, the footwork. That's what I was going to say earlier. But that goddamn reach advantage is something that I didn't know about. And the fact that that reach advantage actually exists, all Anthony Joshua really has to do is pretty much pump the jab, keep that motherfucker at bay, and if he decides to rush in, straight right hand all day
Good
long.
night.
Dude. Yeah, exactly. All day long for however long, how many times he fucking landed. But I feel that Joseph Parker didn't look good against Carlos Takam. I thought he actually lost to Carlos Takam.
I did
but
too.
yeah, but at the same time, Carlos Takam is not an Anthony Joshua as far as fighting style, so it'd be a little different there. But my question would be Joseph Parker's inside fighting game and his ability to actually get on the inside. He would have to be Mike Tyson-esque. You know what I'm saying? As far as when he's coming inside, he's dipping low and he's moving just like this when he's getting on the inside. I don't see that in Joseph Parker. I've never seen that in any of his fights. So as long as he's not doing that, or he's not employing that in his game plan, I could see Anthony Joshua just picking this motherfucker off from a distance the entire fight until ultimately he gets knocked out. That's just my opinion. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Put to sleep.
Put to sleep. Next! And this will be the final topic of the segment. My man and Sess's look-alike, Mr. Curtis Stevens.
Hey.
Mr. Open Jaw. You know what I'm saying? When Golovkin knocked his ass down, my man.
Yeah. Blowing out birthday candles.
That is the image of boxing history almost, B. Like,
it's pretty bad.
Yeah, you got Muhammad Ali knocking out George Foreman.
Yep.
You got Muhammad Ali knocking out Sonny Liston.
Yep.
You got images of Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward, you know.
Yep.
Floyd Mayweather knocking out Corrales. And then you got old Curtis Stevens with the...
Yeah. Damn, Curtis.
God damn, Curtis. All right, let's get to the goddamn topic. Mr. Curtis Stevens has called out Mr. Chris Eubank Jr., calling him Mr. Scary.
Yep, scary.
I will take scared Chris Eubank Jr. What you think of that fight, man?
I love that fight.
Yeah.
I love that fight. I think that's a great fight for one. It's a great fight for Curtis Stevens, who to me really showed himself very, very well against his last opponent. Now I can't, our viewers gonna have to help me out with the last name. It's Patrick
Teixeira, some shit.
Some shit like that. But he was.
Don't he got the same last name as a UFC fighter?
Yes,
Glover,
he does.
Teixeira or whatever.
Yep. So, and I think this cat was somewhere in the 20s, 25-0 or something like that. Had some good knockouts. He was a southpaw, and he was a prospect. Curtis went up in there and did what he had to do, and he did it in impressive fashion. He knocked him the fuck out.
Absolutely.
So, I love this Chris Eubank fight, man, because I, for one, me personally, says I'm picking my man Curtis Stevens.
Yeah, pick your
dispatch
motherfucking
his
twin.
cat. You know what I'm saying? Go and get him up out of there, and we going back to Brownsville. But yeah, man. I mean, I love the fight. I think it's a great fight for Curtis. I think it's a good fight for Chris Eubanks too. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of credible wins on his record, or a lot of known opponents on his record.
Not at all.
So You were talking about fighting Golovkin. Well, a guy that has fought Golovkin and lost is talking about you. He's calling you out. Get in the ring with him and let's see what you can really do. Right. So I'm all for the fight, man.
I think it's a good fight. I'm gonna go the opposite way. I'm gonna go with Eubank Jr. I think.
Shit.
I mean, look at who Curtis Stevens lost to. Motherfucking Jesse Brinkley.
Okay.
Ew. You know what I'm saying? He was on the Contender Series, he was getting his ass whooped there. Like, nah, okay. Man. Like that. I mean, I know that fight was a long time ago, but Curtis Stevens really hasn't changed his style from that fight. He fights exactly the same way.
Ooh,
you know what I'm saying? In my opinion, yeah. I know you might differ that. You know what I'm saying? But and then against old dude Toriano Johnson, the motherfucker that was so vocal about fighting Golovkin, then all of a sudden my man went like this.
Yeah, I don't know where he is. I thought I seen him on the back of a milk carton.
I could have sworn I seen that nigga underneath the overpass, B. That's why Golovkin was gonna fight him. But I guess the nigga got a lottery ticket, got rich, now he ain't there no more. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, so he was getting his ass beat by him. And then he came back, and I think he got the knockout, right?
Yeah, he did.
Okay,
he did.
And that's the one thing that, and that's the one thing that Curtis Stevens does have. He has punching power that can either overwhelm you to where you don't want to continue, or it can lay you flat on your ass. You know what I'm saying? But Eubank Jr., I'm gonna go by what he says, and plus I've never seen him hurt, although his competition is fucking terrible, so I don't get an opportunity to see him get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Only guy he's ever fought was Billy Ho Sanders, and I don't think Billy Ho's all that great.
I don't think so
either. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't look good in that fucking loss, in my opinion. Yeah. So, but nevertheless, I'm gonna take his word for it. He said he fights, he spars heavyweight, spars light heavyweight, spars cruiserweight. He be hitting his ass flush like, and he be taking them hoes.
Nah.
I mean, you spar with 16s, 18s, and 20s. You fight with 8s. Big difference.
Yeah.
But
it's a big fucking difference.
Big fucking difference. For you motherfuckers ain't never been in a ring, that's a big fucking difference. Sparring.
Oh man.
Fighting. See how my other hand ain't even in the camera?
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
how big of a difference it is.
Exactly. There's a big difference there. I actually have a pair of pro 8-ounce gloves, and they're Clado Reyes. And I'm telling cats, if you've never had a pair of pro gloves, like my man 2K said, there's a huge fucking difference. You know, if I was Chris Eubank, I wouldn't even compare sparring with heavyweights, cruiserweights, or light heavyweights to fighting, you know, guys who are known punchers in my own division. I just really wouldn't do it. Like you said, you're sparring with 16s, 18s, 20-ounce gloves on, man, and you probably wearing bigger headgear so that you don't get hurt. It's a huge difference. The thing about this fight, before we get off, man, the thing about this fight is, like you said, Curtis Stevens has legit power. Chris Eubank has never been hit by anybody with Curtis Stevens type of power. Curtis Stevens has been hit by somebody that probably hits a little harder than Chris Eubank and Gennady Golovkin. Now, me personally, and we talked about this before the show, I don't think Chris Eubank is all that big of a puncher. I really don't. I think, and you mentioned this, and I'll give you credit for it, 2K, I think he has pop on his punches, you know, but I don't think he's a good puncher, you know, by my standards. Whereas I do believe Curtis Stevens is a good puncher because he's proven it. You know, he's not cats out, you know. So I just think that he has the edge in power. And I do believe he'll be able to get inside of Chris Eubank Jr., who doesn't have that good of a jab. He really doesn't have a jab.
Right.
So that's the thing, man. I see Curtis Stevens getting inside of him. I see Curtis Stevens being able to push him back. And the minute he opens up with a wide ass shot, Stevens is going to be right there in his chest. The only part where I do disagree with you is I do believe John David Jackson has him looking much, much, much better. So I hope they can make this fight. I think it's a great fight for both guys. Make the fight in the UK as well. So let's do it.
Let's do it. As always, spoken very well by my man Sess.
Appreciate it.
You too. Do what you do in the comment section. Be real. This is real talk for real fans. 1.